Thank you. You always are a gentleman. And you're looking beautiful. Thank you so much. DTM Noor, host Vishal, are we set? Are we ready?
Noor, we will try for 2 more minutes. 9:20 India time, you can start.
Yes, Sajeev, you're looking, you are very clear. Thank you so much.
Light is okay.
Perfect. It's perfect. Co-event Chair Bindu, can you please confirm that all our debate one debaters, are they all present here? All 4?
Yes, they are. All 4 from both teams.
Can we play our promo, folks? Is it possible for us to play the promo video that we had released? If it's possible, let's play it and let the people see what they are getting themselves in for.
Gayatri?
Yes, sir.
Gayatri, in 1 minute, you can start, which is 9:20 India time. You please go ahead and start the event.
All right.
And we will manage the situation.
All right. Well noted. Chief Judge.
Yes, Gayatri?
Do we wait for a minute or shall we start?
No, go ahead. Go ahead and start, please.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Sergeant at Arms, please.
Fellow Toastmasters, remarkable debaters and amazing guests from around the globe. This is Toastmaster Faisal, your Sergeant at Arms, and I welcome you all to the Synergize Debaters Conference 2021. We are all excited to see you all. Let me remind you a few ground rules of today's debater conference. Please ensure your mics are muted and videos are closed, and switch Zoom to the speaker's view. Make sure to see the exit from where you are seated right now. But there is only one exit from this meeting, that is by leaving. And I'm sure that it would be very difficult because the program itself promises an exciting evening in store. With this, let me introduce our event chair for this conference. She's an IT manager working with Hamad International Airport, Qatar, joined Toastmasters in 2018, currently a member of 2 clubs in District 116, Qatar, and charter member of Critical Thinkers in District 20. She has been associated extensively with public relations in District 116 and recipient of the PR Champion Award this term. Help me welcome to our event chair, Toastmaster Bindu Pillai. Over to you, Toastmaster Bindu.
Thank you, Chief Surgeon at Arms, for that hearty invite. Dignitaries from all the districts, passionate Toastmasters, debate enthusiasts, wonderful debaters, debate moderators, organizing team members, role players, members of all participating clubs, distinguished guests from all across the globe. A very wonderful evening to all of you out here. We live in a society where information is just thrown upon you every second or even less. Debating opens a whole new culture. Beyond all academics, it improves your thought process to critically evaluate the information being presented. Improve your skills to do research on the subject, critically analyze the facts and form conclusions and arguments. To bring about this change and to improve the debating culture in Middle East, we have brought this concept of Debaters Annual Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, excitement is all in the air today. On behalf of the entire crew on board, I welcome all of you to Synergize Debaters Conference 2021, hosted by Critical Thinkers Toastmasters Club, District 20. Our maiden Synergize Debate Conference, hosted by Elite Debaters Toastmasters Club, happened in June 2020, and now we are in the first knockout session in the second year. We started off with 4 teams last year. This year, we are happy to announce that there are 8 teams originating from clubs in 3 different districts, all set to battle it out on the virtual floor. We are looking forward to welcome more clubs and get to meet new wizards of words in the years to come. The participating clubs in 2021 are Critical Thinkers Toastmasters Club, Kuwait, Doha Advanced Toastmasters Club, Qatar, Elite Debaters Toastmasters Club, Kuwait, First Diva Debate Club, Bahrain, Midas Touch Advanced Toastmasters Club, Qatar, OSS Advanced Toastmasters Club, Qatar, RCS Debaters Toastmasters Club, Qatar, and Take the Bait Toastmasters Club, UAE. And to take this event forward, let me introduce you to a magnificent lady who was part of Synergize last year. She is a dynamic leader, the current Division A Director in District 20. She is a certified bookworm, TMX organizer, and a future diplomat of the Republic of the Philippines. Let us all look forward to her effervescent style of emceeing. With a thunderous applause, let us all welcome distinguished Toastmaster Angel La Cruz on stage. The virtual screen is all yours, madam.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bindu. It's a pleasure to be here once again at the 2nd edition of the Synergize Debate Conference. I hope you're all excited because all of the organizers are, and I think the judges are ready. What is the Synergize Debate Conference? As you know, it's a debate conference spearheaded by the Critical Thinkers Debate Club, being a debate conference spanning four countries, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. The great success of the first Synergize Debate Conference has led us to this moment, which is the second Synergize Debate Conference. And we welcome you, dear guests, dignitaries, and debaters into the opening night, or what we love to call the knockout night, because it is here that we get to know the people, the debaters who are going to the second and final round of debates. Thank you all for taking part in this year's debate conference. I'm happy to see 73 people already here. And as the night continues, we will get more and more people. We would like first to acknowledge the host club of this debate conference, which is the Critical Thinkers Debate Club, and the president of the host club being Toastmasters. Yes, I would like first to acknowledge the IT support team without whom this event would not have been possible. Toastmaster Suweta Raghuraman, Toastmaster Vishal Edward Khan, Toastmaster Ajita Sadasivam, DTM Leo Ortega, and Toastmaster Sheharias Kandi. We would also like to thank the timers of our debate conference, Toastmaster Anuradha Kamat, Toastmaster Mariset Ordanza, and Toastmaster Ala Alatiki. In addition, we would also like to thank our ballot counter, Toastmaster Vishal Edward Khan, who will be helping our judges tonight. And of course, this event is made possible by our host club, Critical Thinkers Debate Club. And we would like to ask Toastmaster Prince George to open his video and give a thumbs up to acknowledge our guests and debaters. He is the president of the Critical Thinkers Debate Club. Toastmaster Prince George, if you can give us a thumbs up, please. Thank you. We cannot move further without also introducing our chief judge, who will decide the fate of tonight's debaters. Please welcome, with a thunderous round of applause, DTM Safir Aziz. Thank you, sir. And now, let me introduce you to our debate moderator who will lead tonight's debate session. Ramesh Anantharaman, DTM, joined the Dubai Toastmasters Club in 2007. He served as DTAC chair and also as a district finance manager, in addition to various leadership roles in Toastmasters. He has over 30 years of experience in the airline industry. Wow. And is currently working as a senior vice president with Fly Dubai. He holds a master's degree from the University of Strathclyde in operations research and is a graduate degree from the Indian Institute of Technology in electrical engineering. DTM Ramesh, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, MC, for the very kind introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to this debate session. As we are running behind schedule, let us just get into this debate straight away. Before we start the debate proper, please allow me to share a few ground rules. This debate will follow the Toastmasters International recommended format, and it will consist of 3 debaters on each side. And the speaking order is as follows. The affirmative side is Critical Thinkers. Team captain, Toastmaster Mau Bera. Second debater is Toastmaster Nilufar Samal. And the third debater is Toastmaster Ritesh KR. The backup debater is Toastmaster Remy Raji. The negative side is Midas Touch. Team captain is Toastmaster Varghese. Second debater is Toastmaster Haris Babu. And the third debater is Toastmaster Suganakar Pakala. The backup debater is Toastmaster Sajeev Kumar VK. Debaters shall speak according to the same team sequence, during which we kindly request you to keep your videos off and your microphones on mute. The chat will be disabled for everyone. Also, please remember that heckling any debater during the debate is not allowed. Debaters are requested to keep their videos on all the time, devices charged, and have a stable internet connection. If any debater has any connectivity issues or is unable to speak for 30 seconds, the backup debater will take over exactly from where the connection was lost. Our timers for this debate are timer 1, Toastmaster Anuradha Kamath, timer 2, Toastmaster Marisete Ordanzo, and Toastmaster 3, and timer 3, Toastmaster Ala Alatiki. Timer 1 will keep time for all speeches and mute, unmute affirmative team speakers. Timer 2 will mute, unmute negative team speakers. Timer 3 will be backup and keep time along with timer 1. The timing rules are as follows. The team captain's opening speech will be for 5 minutes. The green light will be shown at 4 minutes 30 seconds. The amber light will be shown at 4 minutes 40 seconds. And the red light will be shown at 4 minutes 50 seconds. The debaters will be muted at 5 minutes. Speeches by the second and third debaters as well as the summary speaker will be for 3 minutes. The green light will be shown at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The amber light will be shown at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And the red light will be shown at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. The debater's microphone will be muted at 3 minutes. The cross-examination segment will be for 2 minutes. The green light will be shown at 1 minute. The amber light will be shown at 1 minute 30 seconds. And the red light will be shown at 2 minutes, after which the microphones of the examiner and the respondent will be muted. There will be a 30-second break before every constructive speech for the judges to mark their ballots. A 5-minute breakout session will be allocated for both sides to regroup and discuss before the summary speeches. Teams are offered the option to benefit from the breakout rooms, and they will be escorted by the assigned technical moderator and timer and the chief judge. Technical moderators will ask the timers to start the 2-minute countdown after making sure all team members have joined the breakout room. The use of mobile phones is not allowed in the breakout session by any of the team members. Once the 2 minutes are over, the team members will be moved back to the main room. No new material is allowed during the summary speech. Normally, the moderator has the right to intervene when a debater gives new material. But to avoid any technical glitches on this virtual platform, the moderator will indicate to the judges that there was evidence of new material for them to consider. The decision made by our judges is final. Address all your queries through the moderator. The teams can role play that they represent an interest group, etc. Debaters shall treat each other with respect. Judges shall penalize debaters guilty of rudeness or browbeating. Debaters shall ask fair questions on relevant subjects. Questions may originate from any speech given during the debate. Examiners shall be penalized for arguing with witnesses or making speeches instead of asking questions. The moderator may cut short a witness who stalls or answers at unreasonable length. Debaters shall give direct, honest answers. They must not evade questions. Moderator may intervene to stop evading. Witnesses are allowed to clarify and answers. The debaters being examined cannot ask questions except to clarify a question or when it is a rhetorical question related to the question asked. A debater must not help a partner who has risen to examine or while he or she is answering questions. No heckling, points of order, or personal privilege may be raised during the debate. Rule violations may be raised by the debaters to the moderator. May I ask our Chief Judge, DTM Safir Aziz, if we are ready to proceed?
Yes, please. DTM Ramesh, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chief Judge. Are our debaters ready? Can we have all the 8 debaters on the spotlight, please? Thank you very much. Let the debate begin. Our resolution for this debate is resolve that alternative energy can effectively replace fossil fuels. I repeat, our resolution for this debate is alternative energy can effectively replace fossil fuels. I now invite the first speaker of Team Affirmative, Toastmaster Mao Bera, to unmute and say, Synergize Debaters Conference. Toastmaster Mao, can I request somebody to You're unmuted. Can you please say? You're unmuted.
Yes, I'm unmuted now. Good evening. Yes, please.
Please say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible.
Distinguished Toastmaster Ramesh,
Yes.
is the chat disabled already? Can the host confirm that, please?
Yes, the chat is disabled. It is restricted chat only to host.
Okay, okay. Please go ahead, Ramesh.
Thank you. Toastmaster Mao Berao, please begin your constructive speech. Your time starts now.
Good evening. The motion today is alternative energy can effectively replace fossil fuels. We are Team Affirmative and we firmly support the motion. Let us define some important terms. Fossil fuels are natural hydrocarbon-based fuel formed over millions of years from the remains of living organisms and takes millions of years to replenish itself. Fossil fuels include coal, petroleum, natural gas. Effectively replace implies that which will eventually replace. Alternative energy is defined as usable energy that comes from a renewable resource and is not a fossil fuel. These include wind, solar, geothermal, tidal, wave energy, hydropower, biomass, and biofuels. Team Affirmative comprises me, that is Mo, and I will place before you the contemporary dimension and successes till date. Second speaker, Nilofer, will speak on global advocacy and impact. Third speaker, Ritesh, with spotlight on sustainability and implementation. Let's debate. My first argument is that fossil fuels has caused global warming. Penn State University 2017 reports the consumption of fossil fuels has resulted in smog on a local scale, acid rain on a regional scale, and enhanced greenhouse effect on a global scale. Second, global warming caused by fossil fuels has led to climate change that is disrupting agriculture, forestry, melting polar ice, and causing havoc such as cyclones, floods, and droughts. Coal has the most capability of releasing carbon dioxide, and it has had scientists warning us in numerous prestigious publications that its use must be rapidly phased out to avoid further disasters. Yale study confirms that the world is losing 57% of ice faster than the 1990s due to the increase in burning of fossil fuels. Third, the fossil fuels ravage our environment through fossil fuel pollution. Natural Resources Defense Council reports the fossil fuel industry has blasted terrains and forests in order to expose underground coal or oil. Fragmented, nutrient-leached land destroys critical wildlife and the ecosystem. Drilling, fracking, mining operations generate acid runoff, wastewater laden with metals, radioactive materials, other pollutants that are linked to cancer, birth defects, and brain damage. My fourth argument highlights health hazards caused by fossil fuel pollution. Harvard University reports that exposure to fine particulate matter generated by the burning of fossil fuels was responsible for 8.7 million deaths globally in 2018. These arguments are irrefutable facts endorsed by hardcore scientific data. Fifth, the only way out is an effective transition from fossil fuels to alternative energy, and the process has long begun. US Department of Energy reports that solar, wind, other renewable sources have toppled coal for the first time in the last 130 years. In the Middle East, IEEE confirms that renewable energy capacity in the Middle East has doubled to 40 gigawatts over the past decade, and is set to double yet again. Egypt has installed Benban, one of the world's largest solar farms. Africa has made significant headway. According to UN.org, 1/3 of Morocco's electricity is already renewable. To conclude, global community is adopting immediate steps to mitigate worse disasters caused by fossil fuels. This has been a win for consumers, for the environment, for our economy. It's no longer a matter of if, but when. We resolutely stand by our motion, and we are convinced so do you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mao. Please say, let's prepare for the cross-examination. Toastmaster Mao, please say, Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. Toastmaster Varghese, please unmute and say, Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can start your cross-examination. Your time starts now.
Good evening, my open speaker, Moina. Thank you very much for giving us some light on the climatic change and global warming, which is caused by majorly in fossil fuels. Would you emphasize the renewable energy would be able to replace the fossil fuel energy completely? Would you agree that?
The motion of the debate is it will eventually replace. So yes, complete replacement will be possible eventually. It will eventually and effectively replace. That is the motion, and we stand by it.
Thank you very much. It is effectively replaced.
Yes.
Effective replacement means complete and absolute replacement over a period of time, or is it possible now at the point of debate? What do you think?
Effective replacement is eventual replacement as we have defined. Possible, very much it will happen within a reasonable period of time.
Thank you. Are you ruling out the nuclear energy from the alternative energy array?
We believe that nuclear energy is an alternative energy. However, it is part of the alternative energy mix, and it has no role to play in our debate today.
So you are ruling out completely the alternative energy source of nuclear power?
No, sir, we are not ruling it out as an alternative energy. It's just a part of the energy mix, like many other forms of energy.
Okay, your point is very clear. And you think that only the renewable, alternative energy is causing diseases and hazards and threats to the species, or renewable energy also?
Can I answer this question? Alternative energy basically is going to...
Thank you. We will have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots. Thank you. Toastmaster Varghese, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can start your constructive speech. The time starts now.
Dear moderator, the proposition team, fellow debaters, and respected members of the House, warm good evening. At the outset, we reject the motion alternative energy can efficiently, effectively replace the fossil fuels. We request the House to clarify or carefully listen to our arguments supporting our point. The opposition team, the proposition team, was looming around their argument based on the the climate change, global warming, and the danger that goes to the wildlife and species like that. But fossil fuels drive the current global energy system, contributing 89%, over 120,000 terawatt hour. There was no point to propose an alternative source of energy that can supply 120,000 terawatt hour over a period of time. And profound transformation to the prevailing energy grid, which is run by the fossil fuel energy source, there was no mention about it. There was no transformation ideology or technology was proposed by the proposition team. And in the year 2018, 273 billion US dollars spent on renewable energy. And in the last 8 years, 2.3 trillion US dollar has been spent, and achieving only 11% of renewable or alternative energy altogether. And most of the projects are supported by a fossil fuel source as standby, mostly natural gas. So we reject the motion as it is not economically viable to spend huge amount of money. Point number 3, the alternative sources proposed by the proposition is either not economical or not reliable. It's all talking about the renewable energy source. You know that solar energy, wind power, biomass, thermal energy, all these are intermittent, not consistent. The absolute replacement of fossil fuels is impractical. No effective alternative for fossil fuel powered airplanes and ships. Motor vehicles are becoming electric vehicles, but continue to power them by the power from fossil fuel. Advanced ships continue to be with a gas turbine and diesel electric system with advancement in less NOx emissions. So can this intermittent, less efficient renewable energy be an efficient replacement? No. Why? It needs large array of battery to store energy, and the technology is limited. There's no technological advancement to keep the sun shine regularly and the wind blow reliably, meaning you need a standby, obviously a fossil fuel. There is deforestation, damaging the ecosystem, waste disposal issues, and thus environmental impact is evident for the renewable energy as well. The integration of the power grid from the renewable energy remains as a problem. Now the question, can we opt in nuclear power? We do agree. We do agree with the proposition team as they already ruled out, because we respect the public opinion that it is not the preferred power source or energy source in the world, because the handling of hazardous nuclear waste, high risk involved in it, the economics of setting up a nuclear power plant, and many other. Our third speaker, Sugnaga, will address the point in detail. So, considering the CO2 emission, the major issue with the fossil fuels are the CO2 emission and thus air pollution. It should be addressed, and we are hopeful that companies like the Carbon Engineering, which is funded by Bill Gates Foundation, is working on developing technologies to recover carbon emission up to 100%. Carbon capture storage, CCS, geological sequestration, which is injecting CO2 into the underground rock formation as supercritical fluid. So the technology is so advanced that recovered CO2 can be brought back as jet fuel as resulting carbon neutral. So let me summarize our position that the alternative energy sources proposed failed to substantiate the motion effective replacement of fossil fuels. And we urge the House to reject the motion alternative energy can effectively replace the fossil fuels, considering the inability of the proposition team to propose an alternative that can replace the fossil fuels effectively. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Verghese. Please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference. Toastmaster Verghese.
Pardon me?
Toastmaster Verghese, please say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Thank you. Toastmaster Nilufar, please say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Both of you are audible, visible. You can start your cross-examination. The time starts now.
Thank you, debate moderator. I would like to ask my worthy opponent, Toastmaster Verghese, do you agree that fossil fuels are limited?
As of now, it is not limited. It is in abundance.
but one day the stock will exhaust itself. Do you agree to this or not?
There is no evident study on that. As of now, it is abundant and cheaper.
But we are not talking of now, we are talking of the future to eventually replace. So one fine day, are the fossil fuel stocks going to exhaust themselves or not? Please answer yes or no.
There is fossil fuel in abundance.
It is not there to only for this moment. I'm talking about all of future. One fine day, 100 years down the line, how are you planning to run the economy without any fossil fuels? Do you have a plan in place? Because fossil fuels, by its very definition, are exhaustible forms of energy. Coal runs out, petroleum wells run dry. They are going to get over. So can you tell us how the economies and the world is going to run without any alternative forms of energy?
I believe in natural resources in abundance if we use intelligently, wisely. So therefore, there is no question. It's a superficial question. Like there's no possibility of running it out at the moment.
This is a relevant question. Okay, do you know that the US Navy is now running not on any fossil fuels, but only on seawater?
US is one of the major consumer of fossil fuels. That is the answer for that.
Thank you. We will have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballot. Thank you. Toastmaster Niloufar Samal, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can do your rebuttal constructive speech. Your time starts now.
My worthy opponent has failed to provide substantial evidence and has made some very blaring claims. The information provided was either corporate bias or shrouded with numerous logical fallacies. And it was clear in my cross-examination, he did not have relevant answers to my questions. They were all speculative instead of data-backed answers. Now, my first argument in support of the motion is that global government push towards alternative energy is a reality. And the most potent example of this political will is the Paris Agreement to mitigate climate change by replacing fossil fuels with alternative energy. 189 nations pledged their commitment and placed their plans to shift towards alternative forms of energy. And that has created a substantial shift, not only at the government level, but across all sectors, finance, technological, and even consumers. My second argument, adopting alternative energy reduces damaging effects of fossil fuels. China, US, India, Russia, Japan, Germany are the biggest carbon emitters as of date, as per the BP statistical review. However, Japan, US, and Germany have seen a drop of 11% by shifting from coal to solar, wind, and tidal energy and using electric vehicles in transportation. In contrast, China and India have seen an increase of 54% and 105% due to increased use of coal for electricity generation. This clearly shows that alternative energies are the way forward. My third argument, there's a global shift in investment from fossil fuels to alternative energy. In the Paris Agreement, the developed countries have pledged USD 100 billion to enable this energy transition. More examples, euro 1.1 trillion in the 2021-27 euro budget. The Solar Risk Mitigation Initiative, USD 337 million. Exim Bank of India, USD 1.4 billion. The World Bank is mobilizing USD 1 trillion by 2030. And my fourth argument, financial institutions and banks world over are aligning their policies with the Paris Agreement. 130 plus private banks representing 1/3 of the global sector signed to align banking practices to shift from fossil fuel-based projects to alternative energy. 33 major institutional investors with $5.1 trillion essentially are divesting their holdings from fossil fuel-based company stock as they no longer seem viable or profitable. Honored jury and dear august audience, the world is moving towards cleaner, renewable energy. We strongly believe alternative energy is a
I would like to remind all the debaters that their videos have to be always on. N1 and N3, your videos are off. Can I please request N1 and N3 to have their videos on, please, right away. Thank you. Toastmaster Nilufer, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. Toastmaster Harris, can I please request you to unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference?
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Thank you. You're both audible and visible. You can start your cross-examination. The time starts now.
Toastmaster Nilofer, may I request you to answer straight to the point with a reasonable and logical mindset devoid of bias. You had mentioned global warming and carbon footprint. Beggars cannot be choosers. Everyone must agree to this. If you must choose between food for living and carbon footprint, which one would you pick?
I would pick a good future for my children and grandchildren and do my best to
I gave you two
reduce
choices.
the carbon emissions.
I gave you two choices. Please pick one.
But this
Food for
is my
living,
answer.
food
This
for
is
living
my
or carbon
answer.
food?
I'm a responsible citizen, not only of today, but of tomorrow and the future for the children.
Okay. You had rattled out statistics of Western nations and banks, world banks and financial institutions, which are run by the Western nations or developed nations. Can you give us any statistics of developing nations or poor nations doing the carbon footprint or going green?
I mentioned
Except Morocco.
USD 1.5 billion from Exim Bank of India, which India is going to use to fund projects, renewable energy projects in the country itself and for its neighbors. I mentioned that in my speech.
Is the world driven by consumerism or production? Is it the former or the latter?
It's a balance.
Okay. What is the moral responsibility for a poor nation to invest in alternative energy?
The poor nations will benefit economically and financially, as you will see my third speaker talking about the cost of alternative energies and fuels.
If you cannot replace, would you reduce and recycle? Yes or no?
Yes, for the starters, but going ahead, it has.
Thank you. We'll have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots. Thank you. Toastmaster Harris, can you please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference?
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Thank you. You're audible and visible. You can start your rebuttal and constructive speech. The time starts now.
I reaffirm the rejection of the motion based on these key issues. Alternative energy, including nuclear energy, approximately 4% is not renewable. Conversion of fossils into fuels takes centuries, so also for minerals and metals, which are ingredients for alternative energy. Both inevitably impact the Mother Earth. As an effective replacement, is it effective to go alternative when you're floating on fossil fuels? The whole of Africa is floating on fossil fuels, untapped. Look at who pushed for alternative energy. North America and Europe, 35%. China, 25%. They face the threat of using up its fossil fuels, so they must go alternative at a much higher cost. Is it fair to impose that burden on to other nations who have a choice? Look at consumption, not production data, to know the viability and effectiveness. 84% of fuel consumed globally and 63% of electricity generated are fossil fuels. Transportation sector takes a significant part. A few arguments. One, after decades of research and experiments, there's no viable replacement for fossil fuels at this current time. Let me assert, none presently. Two, let us deal with a known devil than a witch hunt for an unknown angel. Fossil fuels are time-tested and have been extensively researched and considered. Evils of fossil fuels have been mitigated to a large extent. Why be a guinea pig? A fuel is a substance that stores energy. Storage is an expensive proposition often overlooked for alternative energy. Hence, only 16% of the world's fuel source is from non-fossil fuels. Limitations galore exist for renewable energy sources. Approximately 5%. The sun, the wind, the waves, and the others are inconsistent, unreliable, and limited as a source. Limitations do exist for hydro power, which is about 6%, which is the next best source for renewable energy. But rains and precipitations are essential, whereas floods and drought are the villains. Hence, these are also inconsistent and unreliable. If you look at what we have overall, fossil fuels will not last. For how long? This is a moot question. As we are getting technologically advanced, as we invest money into fossil fuels, we are getting it much more efficient and it's going to last for much longer. So I firmly reject the motion. Alternative energy can effectively replace fossil fuels. Over to the moderator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Harris. Please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Thank you. You're audible and visible. Toastmaster Ritesh KR, please say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Thank you. You're both audible and visible. You can start your cross-examination. The time starts now.
Thank you. My fellow debater, do you agree that minerals and metals are not consumed like fossil fuels, but consumed in less quantity, like being part of a power plant?
When fossil fuels form 84% of the world's consumption, obviously it's going to be less. As it grows, it is going to be much more. We're going to be consuming more minerals and metals in the time to come if we go the alternative source in a big manner. Just convert the 16% right now to 84%, and you'll see a dramatic difference in the way that fossil fuels will, how the minerals and metals are going to impact.
So you just agreed that it is less and it is not consumed the same way. I will go on to my next question, sir. Do you know that in the last decade, the share of renewable energy has grown constantly, and now it is 16% as of today? Yes or no?
16% is a drop in the ocean. To go to 84% is a big task. We don't have anything viable as of now. As of now, what we have is a hybrid solution. Nothing lasts better than fossil fuels. There's no
Okay,
fuel
so I'm
efficiency.
guessing your answer is a mix of both yes and no. Are you aware that fossil fuels are hydrogen and carbon based, which take millions of years to form?
Yes, so also for minerals and metals, which are essential for renewable energy.
Okay, but you just
Or
agreed that it is used less. My last question is, do you think alternative energy is an experiment and people researching are using the world as a guinea pig?
yes, because right now there is no viable alternative. You cannot completely remove fossil fuels. That is still
Okay,
an in utopia. There
thank
is
you.
no statistics right now demonstrating that it can be replaced as of now.
Thank you. Do you believe progress is slow at first and then accelerates?
So also for
Thank you. We'll have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots now.
Ramesh,
Yes, Toastmaster details of it.
A3, the third speaker of the affirmative team, was not audible enough when he started this question, the cross-examination. Can you please recheck that before he speaks?
Thank you, DTM Safir. Toastmaster Ritesh, can you please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference?
Synergize Debaters Conference.
The volume is still a little low. Is it possible to kind of adjust your microphone?
1 minute. I can change my mic.
You can test if it works. Synergize Debaters Conference.
Yeah, this is fine. You're audible and visible. You can do
Okay.
your rebuttal and constructive speech. Your time starts now.
Esteemed jury and the learned audience, I bring to notice that my worthy opponent has failed to convince the floor with any conclusive evidence. Therefore, their motion must stand rebutted. I shall now offer three arguments that support our motion and the arguments of the previous affirmative speakers. Argument number one is that alternative energy is more affordable than fossil fuels. LCOE, short for levelized cost of energy, is a term that describes the cost of power derived from an energy source. The LCOE for renewable energy is much less than the conventional fossil fuels. In fact, International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, states that in the last decade, the solar power, the energy from the cost of electricity from solar power has fallen 82%, while that for wind power has fallen down to 29 to 39%. The second argument I make is alternative energy is more effective way to fight energy poverty. World Bank states that over 1 billion people around the world lack access to electricity, especially in rural areas, and increasing fossil fuel-based power generation will not fix this. According to a study published by IEEE, renewables, especially small-scale renewables, are cheaper and faster to install, and they tend to generate and keep power locally, which makes it an effective way to fight energy poverty. The third argument I make is that the sustainable use of alternate energy will lead to increased implementation. International Energy Agency IEA states that the technological innovations like hybrid systems have made alternative energy affordable, accessible, and more energy efficient. According to Alliance for Rural Electrification, hybrid systems and technologies like these are the cheapest, most efficient, and suitable and so environment friendly way of providing energy to villages. And this has been proved in villages across Tanzania, Algeria, Chile, China, and India. Let's talk about India. In India, the Maharashtra government funds hybrid systems where they combine solar panels with wind energy, and this powers many villages. Uh, well, so this proves that the more sustainable use of alternate energy will lead to increased implementation. Building a stable world is not just about what we are giving up, it's also about what we are gaining. For example, an inexhaustible source of clean energy, a
silent industrial revolution that will be fueled by clean energy and will help millions all over the world. So I wish to reiterate the point that alternate.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ritesh. Please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. Toastmaster Sugunakar Pakala, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Both audible and visible. You can start your cross-examination. The time starts now.
Thank you very much, moderator. My worthy opponent, Toastmaster Ritesh, you did bring in the point of cost of power for an alternate or a renewable energy. But can you substantiate what exactly would be the calorific value of that particular power that you generate from alternate vis-a-vis that you would currently get from fossil fuel? Are they comparable?
It is not relevant, sir, because when it is affordable and you can generate the same amount of power, it is not. So LCOE, let me explain. Currently, $40 is the price for solar power, which is 82% less than it was a decade ago. And what we know is technology will push this even cheaper. As our mobiles became cheaper, so will the alternative energy sources.
There are different yardsticks to determine what is suitable, and the convenience is left to an individual. If I were to bring in parity between a fossil fuel and an alternative fuel today, it could be one is cost, as you mentioned, but the fact of the matter is, where is its value in terms of power that would give me that equates the other? To that extent, I felt there is certainly a shortfall and a long, long way to go before alternate comes anywhere close to fossil fuel.
Okay, my worthy opponent, are you aware that the largest battery in the world is a Bath County pumped storage station where they pump hydroelectric, where they allow water, and it's a hydraulic power plant which generates a power capacity of 3,000 megawatts, an average of 2,772 megawatts, and it's a total storage capacity of 24,000 megawatts. And this is the largest battery in the world, by the way.
Very true. It could be a battery, but if you see the megajoules per kg that is given to a battery, it is at least 300 times lesser. You're still off the mark by that kind of value to what you have stated.
Thank you. We will have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballot, please. Thank you. Toastmaster Sugunakar Pakala, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can start your rebuttal constructive speech. The time starts now.
Debate moderator, my fellow teammates, my worthy opponents, and guests present here today. My worthy opponent did bring out the affordability of alternate energy sources. It is only one particular element that was spoken about, that was the LOAC. There is much more than what merits to us as the value in terms of the calorific value that brings the energy to me as an equivalence to fossil fuel. He also did touch upon a technological hybrid systems, but then the viability of the same across the same panel to maintain a particular grid is certainly not substantiated and has got a long way to go before I state that it is an immediate and current form that would provide as an alternate. What a paradox when my opponents started to state that they would not consider nuclear energy at all as part of an alternate system to the fuel. To my understanding, there is a renewable source and an alternate. And our statement for today, the resolution is, if the most alternate energy can be efficiently replace fossil fuels, how best can you miss nuclear energy in the bargain? Food for thought. Well, the team captain on the other end did mention that the Department of Atomic Energy of the United States had brought in various facets about alternate energy as a means for replacing fossil fuel. But then there's something somebody missed. In the year 1954, the very director of the organization she mentioned did make that it requires 4 decades before nuclear energy became the very alternate to fossil fuels. We are still at a beck where nuclear energy is just 10% of what it forms to the energy household that it brings to our table. Can it still be a case for a replacement for fossil fuels? I don't think it is a need for an argument, and I don't see a measure that we have another 3 decades before we can sustain it. Nuclear energy is mentioned as one probably could, but then that as well comes with a lot amount of costs. Costs for construction, cost to put it to use, and more important than not, the decommissioning elements. There are many of these that probably have missed the bus that merit consideration, even if you ever think that is a form coming close to what fossil fuels can do today. As I mentioned about the calorific value, I understand that there is no way that you could substantiate that this is an alternate. And
Thank you, Toastmaster Sudanakar. Can you please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference?
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. Toastmaster Mao, can you please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference?
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're both audible and visible. You can start the cross-examination. The time starts now.
My worthy opponent, did you make a note that the team captain affirmative did mention that nuclear energy is in the bag of alternative energy sources?
You did make a mention, but you discounted
Yes
the
or no?
fact that, you have discounted the fact that it forms part of your part of the bargain for an argument. That is where
Are
we
you
are
aware?
substituting.
Do you know that currently renewable energy produced is double that of nuclear energy?
If you go by the current statistics, the nuclear energy chain brings about 10% of all the alternate and renewable energies put together. Like just for
Yes,
now,
you
for you
agree.
to see, it is 10% of the total value of about 14. So that substantiates the fact whether renewable energy is anywhere close to what nuclear energy is currently provisioning to the world's requirement.
So like you say, nuclear energy is only 5%. You mentioned 10% of renewable energy. So renewable energy already has exceeded nuclear energy. It's cheaper, less complex, readily available, sir. Also, are you implying that nuclear energy is the only aspect of alternate energy? I'd like an yes or no, please.
It is certainly to substantiate the fact that you got this statistic or the mathematic wrong. When I said 10% of the combined value of alternate and renewable, I left the arithmetic for you to realize that it means it is certainly greater than the renewable one to state with.
Okay, so do you agree that nuclear energy is not the only source of alternate energy?
It is certainly not, but there is a long way to go if you're talking about renewable energies, which are nowhere close to form an alternate for them, for the nuclear for the moment.
So there are renewable sources which will form.
Thank you. You have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballot, please. Meanwhile, I request the tech team to prepare the breakout rooms for our affirmative and negative teams. Sergeant at Arms, please ensure all debaters are in the respective breakout rooms. Timer 1, please inform us when you begin the 5-minute countdown. Timers, please keep track.
Debate moderator, kindly advise if we will now send them to the breakout room.
Please take them to the breakout rooms.
Debaters will be automatically joined in the breakout room in a minute.
Okay, can we give a message to the timers to start the time now? All right.
Okay, timer 1, you can start the timing now.
Message sent.
Item Ramesh, unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. 5 minutes are over. Let's bring back our debaters into the main room. Thank you. I see all our debaters back. Chief Judge, maybe proceed with the summary.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Affirmative team captain, Toastmaster Mao, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference. Yes, please say Synergize Debaters.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can start your summary speech. Your time starts now.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests. Our worthy opponents failed to defend the status quo of fossil fuels. They aired numerous claims without providing relevant or authoritative evidence. And in case where they provided evidence, they were either from questionable sources or had logical inconsistencies. Most of my opponents' arguments banked on corporate bias, oil lobbyist ideology, and were rampantly dismissive about a clean, healthy future. They stated several statements which are speculations rather than based on hard facts or corroborative evidence. Fossil fuels are exhaustible. My worthy opponent wants us to believe that. My worthy opponents also claimed that a whole global community of scientists and researchers have been reduced to guinea pigs. Also, data that has been provided on the table, we find that inconsistent. My worthy opponent would like us to believe that 10% of nuclear energy takes part of the energy mix, but we believe, and according to BP Stats Review, it's 5% and not 10%. Finally, my worthy opponent spoke about carbon capture. Carbon capture is actually a Band-Aid. It's Band-Aid technology. We create an evil and then we try to put a Band-Aid over it. Whereas we, Team Affirmative, we are undaunted, unwavering, and we believe that alternative energy can replace fossil fuels effectively. We have substantiated all our claims with observations from studies from various institutions, journals, and organizations. We have argued that fossil fuels have led to global warming, climate change, polluted our environment, and has created numerous health hazards, including deaths and brain damage. We clearly established that the global community, comprising 189 nations, is adopting immediate steps to mitigate the disaster of fossil fuels to effectively replace fossil fuels with alternative energy. We argued that there is a global shift in investment from fossil fuels to alternative energy. This is a reality, and developed countries have pledged trillions of dollars for energy transition. Alternative energy is even more affordable now. The LCOE for renewable energy is cheaper than conventional fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are definitely more accessible to communities in different geographical areas, thus making it more sustainable. Fossil fuels will enable us to fight energy poverty. Several of our arguments stand undefeated, unopposed. It is no longer a matter of if, but when. Emerson had rightly said, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors.
Thank you. We'll have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots, please. Thank you, timer. Toastmaster Varghese, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can start your summary speech. The time starts now.
Respected speakers and members of the House, now the opposition has diluted the motion. They came out of alternative energy to renewable energy. Effectively, they changed to eventually. House may please note that they have diluted the motion. Now, as a refutal to the points raised by the proposition team, we are not talking about the localized renewable energy or small-scale renewable energy. We're talking about the global energy demand and energy requirement to meet with the renewable energy. And he was talking about the battery, a big battery, but he has to understand that there is no battery array which is capable to power up a fraction of a minute of the energy requirement of a city. And now, what is our point of argument? Argument number one, the proposition fails to suggest a feasible and proven alternative for an effective and absolute replacement of fossil fuels. We are not against the renewable energy. The only capable energy contributor is the nuclear energy, which is already discounted by the proposition. Now, no alternatives can effectively operate as fossil fuel does. In order to meet the energy requirements, it has to have either an array of larger batteries or a standby source of energy, which is mostly natural gas. The environmental impact is more or less same. The alternatives such as solar, wind power, biothermal, nuclear, it threats lives, promotes deforestation, causes hazardous waste such as lead, cadmium, and nuclear waste. It takes a lot of land. Thus, the alternatives cannot be effective as an absolute replacement. Point number four, the additional investments of trillions of dollars. Why the overburden of the developing countries for a profound transformation of the existing system? It is not an effective choice to revamp the prevailing energy generation and distribution system. Thus, the effectiveness of economy of alternative energy fails, and we can't effectively replace fossil fuels, which is cheaper, abundant, and widely established. So number five, in specific, nuclear energy is not considered as an effective replacement due to the fact that it is against the will of the public, high initial investments, high risk in handling the nuclear waste, high potential to weaponize, and inability to kickstart and stop. But that is one of the capable energy in terms of calorific value. Then again, I have already discussed about the capture and storage of CO2, geological sequestration to ensure carbon neutral energy. Considering these points, we urge the House to reject the motion alternative energy can effectively replace fossil fuels now. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you. We'll have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots, please. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the first debate. May I request the Chief Judge and the ballot counter to proceed to the breakout room to compile the results.
Distinguished Toastmaster Ramesh, we don't need to go to the breakout room now. We will manage the situation because we are already running late. We'll go to the breakout room together at the end of the second debate and then finalize the results for both.
Thank you very much, Chief
You may
Judge.
proceed with your original plan.
Thank you very much, Chief Judge. It's my pleasure to present the certificate of participation to all our debaters. Critical thinkers, Toastmaster Mau Berau. Toastmaster Nilufar Samal. Toastmaster Ritesh KR. Toastmaster Remy Raji. From the Midas Touch Advanced Club, Toastmaster Varghese Varghese. Toastmaster Haris Babu. Toastmaster Suganakar Pakala. And Toastmaster Sajeev Kumar VK. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for all your cooperation during the debate one. I hand over the proceedings back to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DTM Ramesh. With a well-conducted debate, I'm thrilled to know who the winners of this debate are. And actually, I don't envy the chief judge one bit because last year I was also the chief judge. So now I'm very happy I'm no longer part of the judging panel. At this point, we will have a 5-minute break and would like to request everyone to be back on time for the second round of the first knockout night. I think the timer will time our stretch break. It's time for your coffee and to stretch a little bit. We'll see you back in a little bit. Bye.
Can we switch off our videos now?
Yes, DTMO, you can do that.
Thank you.
Can we have some music?
Rita, can you unshare and share? Maybe, and you check the share sound as well.
Yes, Bindu, you were saying something?
Can you unshare and share again with the check sound,
Okay.
share sound as well checked?
Is it okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Perfect.
Bindu,
Yes.
we might use this time if the second debate teams are available now for them to check their mics, audio, video, and everything.
Debate 2 teams, can you please switch on your video?
Hello, good evening. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. This is Prashant. Am I audible?
Zoom Master, could you please give Sergeant at Arms Yusuf Al Saloom the right to open his, the capacity to open his video and unmute himself so that he can start the next debate.
Yes, done.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back after the short break. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Welcome back, everyone, after the short break. Ladies and gentlemen, we just finished an exciting debate earlier. Now it is time for the second debate. My name is Yusuf Saloom, and I'm your Sergeant at Arms. And let us jump directly to the ground rules. Please keep your mic muted and your videos off unless you are requested to do. Speakers are kindly requested to avoid topics related to sex, religion, politics, and their speeches. For a better viewing experience, it is highly recommended to switch your Zoom account to a speaker view. Please note that the recording is on, and now it is time to hand over the proceedings to our MC, DTM Annie de la Cruz. Over to you, MC. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Yusuf Al Salam. I hope you all had a good break because we are in for another round of fireworks. We would like to acknowledge once again the Critical Thinkers Debate Club and its president, Toastmaster Prince George, as well as our IT support team, the hardworking and noble people who have been working behind the scenes ever since this whole event was organized. Toastmaster Sweta Raghumaran, Toastmaster Vishal Edward Khan, Toastmaster Ajita Sadasivam, DTM Leo Ortega, and Toastmaster Shehariya Skandi. We would also love to acknowledge our timers, Toastmaster Anuradha Kamat, Toastmaster Mariset Ordanza, and Toastmaster Ala Alatiki. In addition, we have our hardworking ballot counter, Toastmaster Vishal Edward Khan. And of course, Prince George, Toastmaster, the president of the host club, the president of the host club, Critical Thinkers Debate Club. So I know you're all excited. May I once again call on our passionate debate moderator, DTM Ramesh, to kickstart the second debate. Before that, I would like to once again acknowledge our Chief Judge, DTM Safir Aziz, who is working very hard right now with this panel of judges. And so I hand over the microphone to you, DTM Ramesh.
Thank you very much, DTM Anne. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome back for the second debate session. Before we start with the debate proper, please allow me to repeat the few ground rules for the sake of members who are joined in late. This debate will follow the Toastmasters International recommended format and will consist of 3 debaters on each side. And the speaking order as follows. The affirmative side is Take Debate Toastmasters Club. Team captain is Toastmaster Karthikeyan M. Second debater is Toastmaster Prashant Shrikanath. And third debater is Toastmaster Sandeep Vengsarkar. The negative side is Elite Debaters Club. Team captain is Toastmaster Rohena Tanveer. Second debater is Toastmaster Ramkumar N. And the third debater is Toastmaster Suhan Munaf. The backup debater is Toastmaster Sangeeta Animolam. Debaters shall speak according to the team sequence, during which we kindly request you to keep your videos off and your microphones on mute. The chat will be disabled for everyone. Also, please remember that heckling any debater during the debate is not allowed. Debaters are requested to keep their videos on all the time. Debaters, please note, you are supposed to keep your videos on all the time. Devices should be charged, and please ensure you have a stable internet connection. If any debater has connectivity issues or is unable to speak for 30 seconds, the backup debater will take over exactly from where the connection was lost. Our timers for this debate are timer 1, Toastmaster Anuradha Kamath, timer 2, Toastmaster Merisete Ordanzo, and timer 3, Toastmaster Ala Alatiki. Timer 1 will keep time for all speeches and mute and unmute affirmative team speakers. Timer 2 will mute and unmute negative team speakers. Timer 3 will be the backup and keep time with timer 1. The timing rules are as follows. The team captain's opening speeches will be for 5 minutes. The green light will be shown at 4 minutes 30 seconds. The amber light will be shown at 4 minutes 40 seconds. And the red light will be shown at 5 minutes. The debaters will, the red light will be shown at 4 minutes 50 seconds. The debater's microphone will be muted at 5 minutes. Speeches by the second and third debaters, as well as the summary speaker, will be for 3 minutes. The green light will be shown at 2 minutes 30 seconds. The amber light will be shown at 2 minutes 40 seconds. And the red lights will be shown at 2 minutes 50 seconds. The debater's microphone will be muted at 3 minutes. The cross-examination segment will be for 2 minutes. The green light will be shown at 1 minute. The yellow amber light will be shown at 1 minute 30 seconds. And the red light will be shown at 2 minutes, after which the microphones of the examiner and the respondent will be muted. There will be a 30-second break before every constructive speech for the judges to mark their ballots. A 5-minute breakout session will be allocated for both sides to regroup and discuss before the summary speeches. Teams are offered the option to benefit from the breakout rooms, and they will be escorted by the assigned technical moderator, timer, and the chief judge. Technical moderators will ask the timers to start the 3-minute countdown after making sure all team members have joined the breakout room. The use of mobile phones is not allowed in the breakout session by any of the team members. Once the 2 minutes are over, once the 5 minutes are over, team will be moved back to the main room. No new material is allowed during the summary speech. Normally, the moderator has the right to intervene when a debater gives new material. But to avoid technical glitches on this virtual platform, the moderator will indicate to the judges there was evidence of new material for them to consider. The decision made by our judges is final. Address all your queries through the moderator. Teams can role play that they represent an interest group, etc. Debaters shall treat each other with respect. Judges shall penalize debaters guilty of rudeness or browbeating. Debaters shall ask fair questions on relevant subject. Questions may originate from any speech given during the debate. Examiners shall be penalized for arguing with witnesses or making speeches instead of asking questions. The moderator may cut short a witness who stalls or answers are unreasonable length. Debaters shall give direct, honest answers. They must not evade questions. Moderator may intervene to stop evading. Witnesses are allowed to clarify and answer. Debaters being examined cannot ask questions except to clarify a question or when there is a rhetorical question related to the question asked. A debater must not help a partner who has risen to examine or while he or she is answering questions. No heckling, points of order, or personal privilege may be raised during the debate. Rule violations may be raised by the debaters to the moderator. May I ask our Chief Judge, DTM Safir, if we are ready to proceed?
Yes, distinguished Toastmaster Ramesh, we are ready to proceed.
Sorry to interfere. Just now, N2 speaker N2 has disconnected and joined back. So give us few minutes to spotlight him, please.
Okay. Okay. So debate moderator, you may take care of that aspect and please continue.
Thank you.
Toastmaster Ramkumar, can you please turn on your video?
Thank you. I can see all debaters here now. Right, let the debate begin. Our resolution for this debate is resolve that remote work is more productive than traditional work from offices. I repeat, our resolution for this debate is resolve that remote work is more productive than traditional work from offices. I now invite the first speaker from the team Affirmative, Toastmaster Karthikeyan, to unmute and say, Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can start your constructive speech. Your time starts now.
Good evening, members of the House and the jury. We as a team stand before you for the motion that's on the floor. Remote work is more productive than traditional work from offices. The Cambridge Dictionary defines remote working as a practice of an employee working at his home or in some other place which is not the organization's usual place of business. In normal terms, we sometimes refer to this as work from home, telecommuting, or telework. Work from office is work that is normally carried out from an office of an organization. In order to maintain comparison of apples to apples in our debate today, we would like to keep the scope of the word work to specify work or tasks that can be performed both remotely as well as from an office. Workplace productivity is the efficiency with which tasks or goals are completed in an organization. Mathematically put, productivity can be said to be equal to output divided by input. Our team will be presenting before this House data and facts supporting our stand that remote work is indeed more productive than traditional work from offices. Remote work or work from office is not a new concept. It's not a COVID concept as some may think. It has been prevalent for many years before in many functions of the business, like sales, in marketing, in customer service, and in process outsourcing. And it has become more visible during the pandemic days. And in the future, it will continue to be a part of the business environment of companies. This acceptance and long-term adoption of remote work model can be attributed to the increased productivity that remote works delivers compared to the traditional work from offices. Let me take you back to a survey that's been conducted in 2013, the pre-COVID times by the Stanford School of Business. At a NASDAQ-listed company called C-Trip with employee strength of 16,000 workers. Analyzing data over a period of 9 months, it was found that work from home employees delivered 13% more productive results than colleagues who work from their offices. In fact, data which has been provided to us by the Global Workspace Analysis, a research organization dedicated to preparing employers for the future of work in businesses, it clearly states that American Express teleworkers have handled 26% more calls and generated 43% more business than their colleagues who worked in the office. Coming closer to home, and in current times. A report was made after a study by the Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University in the UAE in July 2020. And the report was published with the title, Remote Working as a Workplace Paradigm Shift in the Context of COVID-19. And it stated that 65% of business owners have reported that remote working increases productivity in their business. On the whole, employees who work remotely are more productive than those who work in the office. This is a fact, and it cannot be denied. Me and my team will also be presenting during the course of our debate a few contributors to this increased productivity. The most obvious being saving commute time, because there is no commuting in remote work. According to a research that's published by the Harvard Business School in March 2021, based on 3 years data that has been analyzed from 3,445 inventors in 1,180 companies, it concluded that productivity as far as patented inventions decreased by 5% if a person commuted to work for more than 10 kilometers. And it plunged further by 7% for every 10 kilometers, which was added to this commuting. The absence of commuting is a major contributor to the increase in productivity among remote workers when compared to their counterparts who work from offices. Let me now draw your attention to a study that was done by a Great Place to Work Institute, a global authority in recognizing high-performing workplaces and culture. It surveyed 715 companies, including Fortune 500 companies, and analyzed over 800,000 responses. And they measured employee productivity in the month of March to August 2020, where people worked from home because of the pandemic situation, and compared it with the same period in 2019 when they worked from the offices. The results are for all of us to see. Please refer to the graph that I'm displaying for you. It clearly shows that, it clearly shows that the red line, which is the productivity during the work from home period, is very much on the rise in all times between March and August. This clearly shows that work from home is something which is not something of the pandemic period, is something which will remain with us in the days to come too. Because the benefits that the
Thank you, Toastmaster Karthikeyan. Please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. Toastmaster Rohaina Tanveer, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're both audible and visible. You can start your cross-examination. The time starts now.
Thank you so much, debate moderator. My worthy opponent mentioned about remote work during the pandemic and the days to come. What about remote work in the past? Has it not been seen in the past, yes or no?
Yes, it has been seen in the past, and I have already quoted you many data regarding that.
Then why hasn't it replaced traditional work as of now? It should have replaced traditional work.
The point which we are discussing is whether remote work is more productive than traditional work, not whether remote work can replace traditional work.
So was it as productive before, and it would have taken the place of traditional work by now?
It is in fact more productive in the past also, before the pandemic period, in places like sales and customer support and process outsourcing, as I have mentioned. And I also quoted research material which is from the year 2013, which is, as you'll agree, a pre-COVID period, and provided you data that productivity increased in those organizations during those periods also.
Okay, so you agree that it was productive at that time, and now also it is productive. You're saying that.
Yes.
So traditional work still continues to be more productive.
No, traditional work will be there as a part of a business environment, but remote work is more productive. And that is why the percentage is increasing day by day. It was 20% in the pre-COVID days. Today, it is 71% because of the COVID times. And in the future, it is expected to be 54%. Because, as I said, many organizations are now going towards the hybrid model. In example, Dell Technologies and Twitter, Facebook have already announced hybrid models in their workplace.
But that could be only for a certain few professions, not for all. And like you also mentioned,
definitely, a dam cannot be built from sitting in an office. as we said, the scope of the work is defined by us earlier.
Very true, very true. And I think that also about commuting that was mentioned. If you're going to be commuting, not commuting and work.
Thank you. We'll have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots, please. Thank you. Toastmaster Rohena Tanvir, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can start your constructive speech. The time starts now.
Thank you so much, debate moderator. Good evening, my worthy opponents, members of the jury and fellow debating enthusiasts. As the negative team, we strongly disagree with this topic. Remote work is more productive than traditional work from offices. I agree to the terms of the resolution as were defined by my worthy opponents. So I would like to highlight about remote work not being a struggle. Why? My worthy opponents have actually highlighted how remote work has picked up pace and become more productive in today's world. But looking at this pie chart, which was a study done by Buffer in 2021, it shows the struggle of working remotely. Our team will be covering the following contentions. My contention lies in not having enough collaboration and communication, having more distractions while working remotely and staying motivated. My second team member, Ramkumar Nachupalli, will explain the correlation between remote working, loneliness, and isolation. He will also talk about how time zones affect remote working and the grave problem of not being able to unplug. While my third team member, Suhan Abdul Munaf, will cover the need for a quality vacation time and unreliable Wi-Fi, and also will propose a win-win situation, a solution to the dilemma of remote working. Coming to my first argument, as you can see, 20% communication and collaboration issues due to a lack of non-verbal cues. Communication, of course, is an obvious challenge with managing remote employees. Don't you all agree? When you don't have enough face-to-face communication, it can become difficult to sense the intent in messages between yourself and your team members. These natural defense mechanisms are sadly unhelpful and counterproductive in the modern workplace. Now, looking at this next pie chart, which is about Dr. Albert Mehrabian's rule, elements of personal communication, 55% is actually having maximum weightage for body language. Now that you cannot do it when you're working remotely, as that is not conveyed easily. And imagine trying to make an important decision with only 7% spoken words. Now that's remote working for you. The need to have collaboration with another person or group to achieve something or to maximize a goal is actually missing when you work remotely. My second argument is about staying motivated. 12% of remote workers say that this has been their biggest struggle. It keeps them motivated to work, interact, and compete among their peers by working in a traditional office where you master time management and interact with people. You improve your communication skills also. The chance to interact with one's co-workers and offering the chance to form valuable business relationships and better team bonds is very important and cannot be done remotely. The bonus, of course, being that you continue to bring in a steady and secure paycheck. Now that is another reason for motivation. My third argument is about distractions, but I would like to refute what the opponent said by saying that distractions are aplenty when you work from home as compared to a traditional fully furnished office, which offers you an environment which is conducive to concentration. And they appreciate that compartmentalization of their work from home lives. The Statista Research Department published this in July 2020, a survey done on participants who said that when they worked from home during the coronavirus pandemic, they were asked what they thought were the greatest sources of distraction. And among the respondents, 53.7% said that their smartphones were affecting their productivity during the lockdown. Additionally, 30.4% admitted that gaming was keeping them from their daily work responsibilities. I would like to conclude my arguments by saying remote working is not more productive than traditional work from office.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohena. Please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Thank you. You're audible and visible. Toastmaster Prashant Zikana, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're both audible and visible. You can start your cross-examination. The time starts now.
Good evening, Toastmaster Rahina.
Good evening.
I would like to cross-examine you on three main points. First, you mentioned about collaboration and distractions. Now, what kind of collaboration and distractions do we have when we are having this meeting now?
This is not work. This is a debate which we are having right now.
We are already
at work is different. Collaboration at work will be definitely different. If I'm a team leader, I would need to talk to my team members, and that is the kind of collaboration I'm talking about. But here in a Zoom meeting where I'm having a debate, we are arguing the points. So we are just having beautiful arguments.
So in fact, Zoom, MS Teams are also meant for collaboration. Do you agree?
MS Team?
Yes,
Sorry?
MS Teams and platforms like MS Teams and Zoom or all these new, the meetings that we have is meant for this, right? For collaboration?
Yeah, you can have a kind of a meeting, but there is no exact way that you can actually delegate work and actually see that it is done to its full effect through these Zoom meetings.
You mentioned about staying motivated, right? Yes. But you didn't share any sample size for that.
Sample size as in you wanted some...
for the statistics data, it was not shared.
It was in the pie chart. I think you missed it out. It was in the pie chart. There was about 12% that I mentioned. It was mentioned in the pie chart. I could, we could show you the picture again.
Staying in office, do you think really you're not distracted?
No, if we have compartmentalization, we have our own office work, we can sit and we can work. We have a break time. That's.
Thank you. We'll have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots, please. Thank you. Toastmaster Prashant, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can start your rebuttal constructive speech. The time starts now.
Good evening, respected moderators and moderator and members in the House. To begin with, our opponents' arguments were distorted and was like whistling in the wind. Following our opening speaker's narration, I would like to reiterate his stand with and highlight the benefits of two main aspects: flexible working timing and work-life balance. The rigid corporate lifestyle that compelled workers to long office hours, often at the expense of family and personal well-being, is undergoing a pandemic-inspired revolution. The ability to work flexible hours due to the benefit of remote work has helped to increase work-life balance, which has resulted in far better quality of life for many. A 2020 Flex Jobs survey showed that 76% of the workers are more productive working remotely because they experience fewer distractions, and 62% attributed their productivity to a less noisy working environment. Citing an empirical investigation carried out by Hamdan bin Smart University in July 2020, 66% of the respondents involving public and private sector strongly agreed that remote working increases their schedule flexibility. The best I can surmise here is that pre-COVID employees used to stretch this work to fill more of their workday when in office. They are now incentivized to quickly accomplish their set tasks so they can leave their computer and focus on personal matters and create free time for themselves and their families. A certain task pre-COVID would possibly take 3 hours when in office, but when their foot is put to the gas pedal, they can get the work seamlessly done in 2 hours. Remote workers also often have the flexibility to design their day around when they are most productive and stay focused. They can take real breaks when needed and is the key to staying productive and refreshed throughout the day. Many workers are feeling liberated and enjoying the flexibility to structure their days as they see fit, from replacing morning commutes with yoga to catching a few rays of sunshine on mid-afternoon walks, and in turn remaining as productive as ever. There is a dramatic decrease in stress levels, largely due there is no more commuting to work and having to fight traffic on the way back. Thus, a better state of mind for the rest of their day after work, making it easier to recreate and recharge for the following day. Interestingly, this decrease in stress levels has been paired with a significant increase in productivity as well. Creativity is the innate human ability to generate ideas, solve difficult problems, and exploit new opportunities. It is the fuel for innovation. This can be easily acquired if you have a flexible work schedule leading to a better work-life balance, and eventually increase companies' productivity by working remotely and not in the confines of the four walls in the office. Remote work is no longer a privilege. It is the new normal. It's undoubtedly more productive and a lucrative endeavor. In light of the facts just shared and with emphasis to maintain a work-life balance, we firmly stand for today's motion.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prashant. Please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Thank you. You're audible and visible. Toastmaster Ram Kumar N. Please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Contest.
Both of you are audible and visible. You can start the cross-examination. The time starts now.
My worthy opponent Prashant failed to defend some of the things which I would like to ask now. Do you believe quasi-state of mindset is prevalent to measure remote work productivity? Yes or no?
No.
Thank you. The second question, do you believe that you can work 100% remotely? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. You answered my question. The third question I have is, can you depend completely on remote work? Yes or no?
You can partially.
Thank you. I have my rebuttals. The final question I have for Prashant. You mentioned about 76% are more productive. On what basis you have these measurements? Can you give me a reference? Can you measure? How did you measure?
This is a sample size provided by Flex Jobs, over 8,000 people who were
Can you give me categories of it? Can all workers be measured at 76%? Do you have a categorization of the work based on?
I don't have it now with me.
Thank you. Thank you, debate moderator. I have my answers. Appreciate.
Thank you. We'll have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots. Thank you, Toastmaster Ramkumar. Please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible, and you can start your rebuttal constructive speech. Your time starts now.
Thank you. My worthy opponent was not only whistling in a wind, but beating the bushes. According to World Economic Forum, many companies do not routinely measure productivity. Some business leaders, in fact, the remote working is compromising productivity and is therefore not workable in the long term. I refer to World Economic Forums as well. Remote work could harm your mental health even. Having said that, respectable judges, audiences, I will now cover 3 critical points as briefed my team captain, referring to the source buffers.com, state of remote work, loneliness, isolation, which is one of the top challenges all remote workers face. Regular human interaction can be easy to take for granted until you don't have an office full of people to be around. We are social human beings. Not surprisingly, then, it's a huge health factor that impacts not only our psychology, but our physical health. A 2018 neuroscience report found that when researchers removed mice from the typical highly social structure and put them in isolation away from the group, their brain cells showed signs of social interaction atrophy. In other words, when separated from social structure, the brain cells started dying. Yes, you heard it right. The brain cells started dying off. Isolation and loneliness in humans are just a detrimental. Prolonged isolation can, in extreme cases, result in things like anxiety and depression. Talking about feeling of being left alone. We all feel left alone being away working from office, not being working from office. Connecting with your colleagues and managers from the small running into each other in the office to the bigger Friday, happy hours are blocked from the office. I have a remote study. Harvard Business Review found that remote workers feel more left out, as you see in the graphs. World Health Organization agree with survey statement. 1,153 global workers, only 52% of whom who work from home at least some of the time. Study authors Joseph Graney and David Maxfield remarked, unless we take extra measures to build and trust connection with remote colleagues, we pay dearly for doing so. A lack of close contact with people inhibits the formation of trust, connection, and mutual purpose. These are the critical ingredients of healthy social system. Let me reflect you on not being able to unplug. Unplug is a psychological phenomenon called anticipatory stress. The anxiety we feel worrying about something that is coming or could coming, telling your brain when to stop. It is very difficult to stop working, very difficult to develop healthy boundaries, very difficult to turn off notifications. We all evidenced COVID pandemic. Odd timings, night reports, morning calls.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramkumar. Please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference. Thank you.
Thank you. You're audible and visible. Toastmaster Sandeep Vengsakar, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're both audible and visible. You can start your cross-examination. The time starts now.
Toastmaster Ram, is the topic of our debate that remote work increases isolation? A simple yes or no, please.
100% isolates people when you work remotely.
What is the topic? What is the topic? Hold on. What is the topic of the debate? Is it remote work increases isolation? A yes or no, it will suffice.
Remote work increases productivity from the office. That is our topic
Thank you.
for the debate today.
Thank you.
Please understand and let me have a clarity on it. Thank you.
Hold on. No. The second one is the topic remote work increases anxiety?
Having prolonged hours always increases anxiety. That's what the research says from the Bruford.
Fair enough.
World Health Organization accepted. We are referring to the World Economic Forum. These are the credible resource materials I'm talking about. I'm not giving any assumptions from the mind, thought, or ideas or technology. It is not. I'm talking with reference to the credible resources.
You are digressing, sir. I think you are digressing. My question was a very simple one. What is the topic? Period. I think let's move on to the next question. You mentioned that remote work increases isolation, correct? Correct?
Remote work increases isolations. At the same time, it causes mental
fair enough.
illnesses.
Hold on. I have a follow-up. At the same time, your opening speaker said that there are 53% respondents saying that it increases distractions.
Please, can I request to limit your questions to me? Given the speech?
I am allowed to ask any question made by your team before this speech.
Okay.
Can you answer that question, please?
Can you repeat me again?
Thank you. We'll have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots, please. Thank you. Toastmaster Sandeep, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can do your rebuttal constructive speech. Your time starts now.
My worthy opponent, though he tried to obfuscate the matter by going into a lengthy discussion around the topic itself, I feel missed the topic. We were not talking about whether remote work increases isolation, whether it increases anxiety and all the ill effects of remote work. The topic we are discussing today is whether remote work increases productivity. And that is what I would like to restrict and remind everyone in this debate. Now we talked a lot about productivity in terms of time and commute, but the one key productivity that I would like to remind you all is the productivity of capital. The amount of cost saving that companies as well as individuals have got because of remote work. As early as 2007, Sun Microsystems went into a telecommuting policy and has been saving $68 million year on year. Dell Computers saves approximately $12 million every year because it allowed 25%, just 25% of its workforce to work from home and telecommute. Now, these are costs which are significant and are being providing the benefits to the companies. Now, this goes beyond the normal productivity that we have talked about in the last few minutes. Also to consider is the fact the capital productivity for the employees themselves. A survey done in the US for around 100,000 employees have realized that telecommuting and remote work has saved them approximately $4,000 every month because of reduction in fuel cost, reduction in lunch cost, and also all the traveling time that they have put together. Now, this in itself is a very clear-cut indication that remote work is more productive than working from a traditional workplace. Not only in terms of the productivity of time, the work that you do in flexi time, but also in terms of productivity of capital. A Gartner survey of around 317 CFOs worldwide said 74% of the CFOs plan to permanently shift to more remote work. Nearly a quarter of them plan to move 20% of their workforce into a remote work environment. Obviously, they are not doing this just because they think it is the fact to do in the current situation. With that, I would like this House to accept this motion that remote work is more productive than traditional work from the work.
Thank you. Toastmaster Sandeep, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. Toastmaster Suhan Munaf, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Both of you are audible and visible. You can start the cross-examination. The time starts now.
Thank you so much, debate moderator. My worthy opponent, Toastmaster Sandeep. I heard you clearly, and I really agree to the facts that what you have said is about the productivity of capital and everything you mentioned for the company is good. But what about the employees? And I think you mentioned more about the IT companies aspect of the point. What about the other businesses? You can take about.
Firstly, I think maybe you did not hear my speech rightly. I also give an example of a $4,000 saved per employee in a survey done in the United States. So I was not only talking about the companies, I was also talking about the employees. And there is no indication. My opening speaker gave you an example of companies, which is American Express, which is not an IT company.
All right. Okay. But what about other retail businesses? According to you, how about them? That's what I wanted to know.
Can you give me an example?
Like retail companies, banking, finance, how about them? Can they, do this?
If you go back to the opening statement made by my opening speaker, we are only talking about activities which can be done both remotely as well as at the workplace for the basis of this comparison. So wherever jobs in retail companies which can be done in both the places, yes, whatever we have said till now holds true.
Okay, my next question to you is, how about commuting? I mean, is traveling itself is not healthy if go into this. I mean, that won't be healthy or productive for the employee, to go to office instead of working at remotely at home.
That's what we are saying. But that's exactly what you said. I think maybe you got the word telecommuting wrong. Telecommuting means working from a remote place. It is not commuting.
Thank you. We'll have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots, please. Thank you. Toastmaster Suhan Munaf, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Oh my God. One moment. Yeah. Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can start your rebuttal constructive speech. Your time starts now.
Thank you so much, debate moderator. I would like to enlighten that my debate, my worthy opponent says maybe they're quite being stringent on that remote work is more productive than traditional work from offices. Yet I would like to enlighten more on what about the vacation time and the unreliable internet. Remote work has proved to be popular among many workers. It can be a good therapeutic change of pace, but cannot replace the regular vacation. You cannot strike a work-life balance between remote work, not even a vacation. we all have seen COVID pandemic has shaped up to utilize paid leaves piling up. Many of us have taken compulsory office leaves while working at home. Now ask yourself, how many of you have considered these leaves as you're working actually on vacation? Weren't all these leaves utilized? This is the big issue that I'm trying to talk about. Now let's talk about the unreliable internet, Wi-Fi, while you're working remotely. How many times we hear during the office Zoom meetings, can you hear me? I'm not able to hear you. Your voice is breaking, screen is frozen, unable to connect. This is what remote working I am talking about. Well, if your internet is unpredictable, just like a respective housewife, then do you think depending on 100% internet can make you 100% productive? Think again. So as a team, we propose out a win-win solution for all working class. Hybrid working is the best solution which is a right mix of working remotely and traditional office work. Google has announced that the employees can work 80% in their office, 20% at the new office location, or 20% at their home. Some industries, they cannot work easily from home. That is retail, construction, healthcare, entertainment, to name a few. They require higher percentage of office work than remote work. Some industries can work easily at home. For example, IT, banking, finance, accounting, real estate or insurance at 84%. But you can see from Facebook to Google, tech industry is embracing the flexible new trend.
Thank you, Toastmaster Suhan. Please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Okay, Synergize Debaters Conference.
Audible and visible. Toastmaster Karthikeyan, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're both audible and visible. You can start your cross-examination. The time starts now.
Toastmaster Munaf, did you say that when a person is working remotely, he cannot take vacation?
Well, he's mixed. Yeah. When he's on vacation,
what gave you this impression? They can take vacations as far as I know.
Yeah,
employees are provided vacation even if they are working from home. Anyway, moving on, I also have a point. You mentioned something about 84% remote work from home can be applied in IT, finance, and banking. Did I hear you right? Did you say that?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Because I was a little confused because it was a statement supporting our team stand. That's why I just wanted to clarify. And you also mentioned about Google. You said 80% are working from office, 20% from a new office, and 20% from home. That amounts to 120%.
Google is trying to apply this hybrid working, where 80% can work at office, other 40% can work in other locations.
No, that's 120%. As far as I know, percentage is only up to 100.
But not 100% remote working.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, anyway, fine. I think you've got the numbers wrong there. Thank you very much, Munaf. I do not have, of course, about the internet, unreliable internet. Unreliable internet is a responsibility of whom? An employee, everybody, isn't it today? It's become part of our life.
Yes, and that's why it's unpredictable. So we don't know what can
happen. I think we have to subscribe for higher bandwidth. That's all.
Yeah, but even
as an organization, I think they have to subscribe for higher bandwidth. Anyway, thank you very much. We'll move on. I have no more questions, sir.
Thank you. We'll have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots, please. Thank you. Tech team, please prepare breakout rooms for our affirmative and negative teams. Sergeant at Arms, please ensure all debaters are in the respective breakout rooms. And Sergeant at Arms, please inform timer 1 when to begin the 5-minute countdown. Timers, please keep track.
Debaters, you will now be moved to the breakout rooms automatically in 3, 2, 1.
Sergeant at Arms, please confirm to timer 1 when to start the 5-minute countdown. Timer 1, you can start the time now. 5 minutes over. Sergeant at Arms, let's get our debaters back into the main room. Zoom Master, can we have our team captain spotlighted, please?
Yes. Just confirming everybody is in the room. Requesting debaters to please switch on their videos.
Chief Judge, may I request your permission to start the summary speech?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Toastmaster Karthikeyan, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
Thank you. You're audible and visible. You can start your summary speech. Your time starts now.
Good evening once again. At the outset, I have to say that my opposing team has not been able to, in the last few minutes that we have had this debate, establish even a single fact or statement to prove that traditional work from offices is more productive than remote work. They probably were only concentrating on points like collaboration, distraction, loneliness, and other things which were not related to how traditional work from office is more productive than remote work. We, on the other hand, have presented to you definitions of the statement, a clear framework within which this discussion is going to happen, and presented to you facts and research data to show that remote work is more productive. It is a fact that it is more productive by citing research from CTRIP, which is from the Standard School of Business, from data from the Great Place to Work Institute, and also from the Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University. And also we have presented to you contributors to this productivity, just the savings in commute time, which increases productivity, and also the flexible timing it provides remote work, and which in turn brings out creativity among employees, and which actually contributes to productivity. We have also presented you data where commute time, loss of time in commute, how it affects inventions and how productivity in that area is brought down when people have to come to offices to work. Also, we brought out a very important point for you. Productivity is not limited to time and flexibility of employees. It is also productivity of capital. And it was clearly pointed out how capital productivity has been established with savings for the companies and the savings the employees have. Sun Microsystems savings of $63 million, a valid, very huge amount for a company. And also the Gartner report, where the 317 CFOs have decided that 74% of them will move to make a movement towards remote work. So we have established beyond doubt that remote work is more productive than traditional work. And this is a factor which was existing before the pandemic time, which is there in the pandemic time, and will continue to be there in the years to come after the pandemic. I would like to request the jury and the House to pass the motion that is in front of you, which is remote work is more productive than traditional work from offices. We rest our case. Over to you, sir.
30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots, please. Toastmaster Rohena, please unmute and say Synergize Debaters Conference.
Synergize Debaters Conference.
You're audible and visible. You can give your summary speech. The time starts now.
Thank you so much. Good evening once again. My worthy opponents tried to establish a strong connection between remote work and high productivity. We, the negative team, agree that remote work is in trend today and may become useful in the future. But then why, I have a question again, that why did they not tell me that this can be replaced and traditional work is going to be out of vogue? No, today when lockdown is going to be over, definitely traditional work is going to be back in force, and that will definitely be productive, as that is what we had tried to show. Now, I feel that my worthy opponents have failed in spite of the numerous claims, suppositions, and arguments they put forth, because we have shown a pie graph where we have shown the remote work struggles that people have faced. Now, all these that we showed, the isolation, the loneliness, the communication, collaboration, that all actually is a reason for less productivity for remote work. Some of these statements that they have actually shown us, they came across as speculations rather than the corroborative facts, because they also were trying to establish the fact which was not definitely established. My team has very well explained how communication and collaboration, good vacation time, unreliable Wi-Fi, lesser distractions, staying motivated, loneliness, isolation, and of course, not being able to unplug. All these, when you work remotely, will definitely affect productivity, and have provided substantial evidence from reliable and reputed resources. My team has also provided a win-win solution, which may be hybridization of the two, yet favoring traditional work, more of it and less of remote work. Remote work and traditional work need to go hand in hand. It's not a choice between any one option, but it's a unique mix of both, which will increase the productivity. I think that what my worthy opponents have done is they have actually spoken more of this hybrid, the hybrid that is going to happen in the future, and they have given us instances only of companies like Dell and IT companies, and not for all professions. We believe that this is the future of work. Post the pandemic, we are all witnessing today. As we have proved, me and my team are resolute and staunchly believe, we staunchly disagree that remote work is less productive than traditional work from offices. Back to you, moderator.
You have 30 seconds for the judges to mark the ballots, please. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the debate. I request our Chief Judge and the ballot counter to proceed to the breakout room if required.
Yes, we will need that. Please, the host to move me as well as ballot counter Toastmaster Vishal to the ballot counter, to a breakout room, please.
Zoom Master, can you please confirm once they have been moved?
Yes, we'll be moving to the breakout room. Leo.
Can you please confirm once it's done? So, Master, I can still see the Chief Judge here.
Yes, we just send him to that. Oops.
It's done.
I just hold on.
Moderator, I accepted to join the breakout room, but I'm still here.
Yes.
Zoom Master, even I got an invite to join the
No,
breakout room. I'm not joining the breakout room.
Okay, disregard the invite. Leo, can you move me also and CJ into the breakout room?
Did the breakout room started? Wait.
Leo, can I proceed?
Okay, CJ here. Yeah, Leo, please send me and CJ into the breakout room. Okay, I'll join CJ there.
Zoom Master, can you please confirm the Chief Judge and the ballot counter have moved?
Yes, they are in the breakout room.
Thank you very much, and sorry for the technical delay. It's now my pleasure to present the certificate of participation to all the debaters. Let's start with Tech Debate Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Karthikeyan M, Toastmaster Prashant Trikanath, and Toastmaster Sandeep Vengsarkar. And from the Elite Debaters, Toastmaster Rohena Tanveer, Toastmaster Ramkumar Nachupalli, Toastmaster Suhan Abdul Munaf, Toastmaster Sangeeta Animalong. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the support, and I hope you enjoyed listening and watching the debate as much as I enjoyed moderating it. Thank you very much, and over to the MC.
Thank you very much, DTM Ramesh and debaters. I think he and the debaters deserve a hearty round of applause, don't you? Let's all give them a virtual applause right now. And please, let's not miss this great opportunity. While the judges and the tally counters are tabulating the scores, please turn on your cameras. Everyone, say cheese. Zoom moderator, please make sure that we all look good. Can everyone turn on their cameras and let's take a commemorative photo to mark this occasion? Zoom moderator, can you tell us if you've taken the photo?
Yes, I'll start clicking the photo now. So would
Yeah, give us the signal to say.
So there are three different rooms for you to take the picture. So I will take the first page now. So everyone smile for the camera. All right. So now I'll be moving to the second room. So once again, smile for the camera. People in room 2. And our last click. Room 3, starting from Aji, Joshua, Hasib, Vinod, please turn on your cameras. Deepika, Hamid, Mr. Aziz Mohammed, DTM Johnson, please turn on your cameras. All right, smile for the camera. Thank you, everyone. I'll be taking one last picture on the first page. So please give your best shot. Thank you so much for the support. I would be handing back over to our Master of Ceremonies, DTM Ain. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sweta. And your lovely smile is also like a warm, it's also very heartening to see. And by the way, the reason why there are 3 rooms is because at last count and throughout the event, we have been watching, and there were like 84 plus people who were watching the Synergize Debate Conference. And that's just because it's an amazing and innovative event. At this point, I'd like to call on the president of the host club of the second edition of the Synergize Debate Conference. He's none other than Toastmaster Prince George, Area Director, my dear friend, and a guru of debating. Toastmaster Prince, what can you say about this whole experience, our second edition of the Synergize Debate Conference? Sir, please unmute yourself. Okay. Sir Prince, we can't hear you.
We cannot hear you, Prince. Yeah, it's good.
So first, again, thank you so much for getting me to speak, because I was on the edge of my seat all through the meetings that were going on. It just got me tracking back to.
It's not clear.
It's still not clear. How about this? I call on 2 other people, and then I'll get back to you while you try to fix the. Okay, thank you. I would now like to call on one great dignitary. He is the District 116 Director, and I've been watching him. He has been here since the beginning. DTM Tayalan K, can you please give us some, what is your feedback on the second edition of the Synergize Debate Conference?
Thank you, MC Aini. Synergize Debaters Conference organizers, fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, good evening. It is my pleasure to attend this second edition of Debaters Conference also, because I was part of this conference last year also. I was coming from RCS Debaters last year. And last year also I enjoyed that debate. And this year also it is nothing less than that. Really going great. Very nice to see that. And I really enjoyed from the beginning. Now I am enjoying the content. But I have to tell you one thing. Today I'm a very proud and happy district director, because out of the 8 participating teams, 4 teams are from Qatar, that is District 116. I was happy that when Gayatri Madam asked me to give some names, I gave 3 of our advanced club people also. Then out of that 2 people, they joined their 2 clubs, and that represents Qatar represents very nicely in this contest. That is number one. Second one, when I was the division director, we started the first ever and so far the only debate club in Qatar, that is the RCS Debaters Club. And today, what I am so happy is the members, current members or past members of RCS Debaters, they are representing 5 debate contest teams here today. People from there, no? That is a great achievement. I'm really feeling very proud that that time we started a club, and that is every year. And I'm very happy. Next year also, this level of competition should go on, and it will create more and more debaters. Thank you very much. Back to you, MC.
Thank you very much, DTM Thailand. And we're very happy once again to be part of the second Synergize Debate Conference as we were last year, and hopefully in the years to come, because we really think that this is such a great event. Actually, I just received a text message from DTM Amor saying, don't forget Hazem. How can I forget our District 20 International Speech Champion who's on his way now to win the World Championship? We'd like to call on Toastmaster Syed Hazem. What are your thoughts on the Synergize Debate Conference? He will also be the debate moderator for tomorrow. And he is, of course, from my own home club, the first Diva DTM club. Toastmaster Hazem.
Hello.
Can we spotlight him, Zoom moderator?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my video on. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Yep, I need somebody from the moderators team to enable my video, please. It's disabled.
Can we do that, Zoom Masters?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam MC, and thank you very much for the Synergize organizing team. I was really mesmerized today. I did not expect this level of debating. People were prepared and they were fearsome most of the time. It made me think twice about being the DTAC champion in prepared speech. This debating is a whole new ball game. So kudos to everyone who has participated, and I would love to be part of this. Cannot wait for tomorrow to be the moderator, but really, really amazing performance. Hats off for everyone for pulling this off. Thank you, and back to you, Madam MC.
Thank you very much. Toastmaster Hazem Al-Alawi, our District 20 International Speech Champion. At this point, we'd now like to call back to the podium Toastmaster Prince George, President of Critical Thinkers. Yes, he is here. TM Prince, tell us what you think about the event.
Well, he's not able to be clear. So may I, on your behalf, a little louder?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Toastmaster Prince, come near and
mic.
maybe speak.
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Am I more clear?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try to be as loud as I can so you can hear me. I don't know what's wrong with the internet today, but I would just like to say that it was an amazing event. I enjoyed it. I was actually at the edge of my seat because it took me back to last year, all the nervous moments while debating in the last Synergize, which was the first debating conference. And we are all big fans of debates because it enhances our critical skills, our critical thinking skills as well. And debating is the future in Toastmasters as well, because it's not just about how we speak, but it's also about what we speak. Right? And we're all here to improve ourselves and become better versions of ourselves. So I congratulate all the debaters who performed excellently today. It was a great performance, well thought of debates, and well executed, I must say, good articulation. And I really look forward to the future debates, and I am ready to win this contest this year around. So all the best to the debaters. Thank you. Thank you so much.
For the benefit of all, Toastmaster Prince George actually won Best Debater last year at the first ever Synergize Debate Conference. And it's actually providential that this year he's not taking part because so many people are afraid of him. That's the truth. That's the truth, Sir Prince. And now we would like to present a
1 minute. Prince would be presenting.
Yes. Toastmaster Prince would be presenting a certificate. So I hand the mic over to him.
All right, thank you. So, as a certificate of appreciation, thank you, and thank you so much for being the master of ceremonies today, and you did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank the debate moderator for today, DTM Ramesh Anand Sharma. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, it's a surprise, and it's even better to be the MC rather than the chief judge, for sure, for sure. Like last year, we were at the edge of our seats, and I'm sure Toastmaster Prince appreciates not being a debater this year because, as you can see, the level of the debates have really, really gone up. So while we are waiting for the results, I'm tasked to keep the ball rolling. Is there anyone else who would like to give their thoughts on our second edition of the Synergize Debate Conference?
Toastmaster N, our chief judge is here. Could you please check whether things are ready?
Chief Judge?
Gayatri, I have shared the results with the event chair so that they can prepare the certificates or do the honors. The results are ready.
Yes, I can roll out the certificates now.
So we are ready to announce?
Yes.
Yes, please. And I would request the debate moderator, the distinguished Toastmaster Ramesh, to announce the results, please.
DTM Ramesh, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, DTM Safir. The winners of debate 1. Critical thinkers. Big round of applause for critical thinkers. And the best debater. Toastmaster Ritik and Toastmaster Remy Raji. The best debater for debate 1. Winners of debate 2, Toastmaster Karthikeyan, Toastmaster Prashant Trikanad, and Toastmaster Sandeep V. The best debater for debate 2, Toastmaster Karthikeyan M. Can you please show the best debater for debate 1, please? The best debater for debate 1, Toastmaster Mao Berao. Thank you very much. And back to the Chief Judge.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Ramesh. I think there are some minor corrections that are required for the certificates, especially the second set. It was a great effort, and I apologize on behalf of the technical team for the initial glitch and the delay for the start of the competition. I hope that tomorrow we will not have any technical issues and we'll start on time and end on time. It is past midnight here in India, and I have a few judges, and I know that there are a few people in the audience who are enjoying this debate from India. It was a great debate to be part of, and I'm thankful that I was the chief judge and not a judge, and I didn't have the difficulty of selecting between tough teams and tough individuals. I wish the winners all the very best, and I also congratulate the second teams. We always need to have a winner, and hopefully you will continue your learning in your debate clubs and hopefully come back stronger in the next year. Good night. Thank you, and back to the MC.
Thank you, sir. Please stay with us a minute longer while we take photos with the winning team for the first debate. Chief Judge and debate moderator, please join us for the photos with the winning team of the first debate.
Spotlight team, please spotlight the winning teams.
Congratulations, DTMO, best speaker.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Humbled, elated, grateful.
Where's the other speaker? There we go. Zoom moderator at your signal.
Yeah, please add Ramesh as well, the moderator.
Yes, he's there, sir.
He has not been Okay, he has been spotlighted now.
I think it is done. Is it done? Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. The winning team from the first round. Let us now call on the winning team from the second round of debates. Please stay with us, Chief Judge, debate moderator.
Okay, spotlight team, please go ahead and spotlight the team, and I'll take a picture.
Can we get the winning team from the second debate, please? Congratulations, DTM Kartikeyan, best debater.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, is that all? Anybody else? Yes.
Yes.
Let me take a picture here. Okay, I'm going to click a picture now. 1, 2, and 3. Yes, that's done.
Thank you so much. Can we now have all the teams together, all the participating teams of the first night of the knockout debate?
I don't think we'll be able to spotlight more than 9 people.
We'll have to stop the videos
of the others.
Okay. Okay, so let's do that, spotlight team. We'll switch off the videos of everybody else and accept the debaters.
While we are waiting, I would like to congratulate the efforts of our event chair, Toastmaster Bindu Pila, and of course, the ever energetic, ever dynamic, and ever young DTM Gayatri. This was her brainchild, and she's still going strong. Can't wait for tomorrow's knockout night, DTM Gayatri. Although I got scared every time you sent me a text message.
Okay, are all the debaters' videos switched on? Anybody missing here? All right. Okay.
My video has been switched off.
No, you can switch off you can switch on your video. Everybody has the right.
No, I can't. Yeah, okay. Now.
Everybody has the right to switch on the video. We have only switched out the videos of people. All right, I'm going to click it. 1, 2, and 3. All right, everybody. Amazing. Okay. Great. All right. And yes, the winning team of the first debate. I do not know if somebody else has captured that picture. If not, let's do that again. Can we have the winning team of the first debate? D1, A1. D1, A1. D1, A1. The rest can just switch off the cameras and okay. D1, A1. Johnson Samuel is also from D1 even?
No, he is from the audience.
Okay. Right.
You have spotlighted, just select the speaker view and you will get all the debaters.
Yes. Okay, right. Now I'm going to click in the pictures over here. All right, clicking 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, debaters. You're looking great.
Thank you to our paparazzi. And now we'd like to call on the people who have been behind the scenes, but who have been instrumental to this event, the event chairs, debate moderator. With those, no, the debate moderator has been there. I'd like to call on the tech team as well as the timers. Because they have been with us since the beginning, and it's only right that they get recognition now. Please turn on your cameras, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a photo. Ditems Gayatri, Bindu, Sueta, timers, Tia Mariset. If you can just highlight the videos, their videos, please.
Okay. Right. I'll just show off the other videos.
Take a photo with our chief judge and debate moderator.
Yeah, exactly. Go. Let me just switch off the other videos so it becomes easy for me to. Right. First. Yeah. The timer 1, timer 2. Where's timer 2? Timer 2 and timer 3.
Sergeant at Arms.
Yes. Okay. Ritesh, sorry, I'm just talking on video. Yeah. Okay. Right. We have a picture. All right. Clicking 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, team. Over
Thank
to
you
you.
so much. Thank you so much. Now, everyone, wasn't that an exciting debate? We're all very proud to be part of the second edition of the Synergize Debate Conference. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, and if there's nothing else, DTM Gayatri and Toastmaster Bindu, and on behalf of the organizers, the whole team, we bid all of you good night. We will try to start on time and end on time tomorrow, as our chief judge has said. Be sure to be back tomorrow on time for another exciting debate where my own home club, the first Diva DTM club, takes part. My name is Ryan, over and out.
Thank you, DJ May. That was wonderfully done. I'm sure I'm audible and I'm visible as well. Wonderful job. Congratulations.
Alan, you're still here. You
Yes.
might be you're thinking about the debate tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely.
Looks that way. Are the tech debaters still here? I have something to say to them.
Okay, Gayatri, if you allow me to leave, let me
Yes,
sleep for some. Let me
Thank you
sleep
so
for
much.
some time.
No, please wait. Just a minute. I do believe, yes, I do see Sandeep here. Yes, indeed. I do believe that gray hairs, they do make a difference. And Karthikeyan, even though your hair may not be all gray, still, I think the gray hairs took the day today.
Thank you.
Thank you. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you, Chief Justice.
You're going to, I'm going to go and get my hair also colored, you know.
Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you.
Well done, huh? Well organized.
Ramesh will also follow suit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief Judge, and sorry on behalf of the entire team. On behalf of the entire team, we do apologize for the delay in the technical issues, and we thank you for your patience. Tomorrow, for sure, we will not have this issue because we have some wizards. Like today, we have the wizard of words, we have the wizards of the tech behind, and these things happen. Unfortunately, they happen today. They will not happen tomorrow. Thank you, Chief Judge. Thank you for your time. Thank you, debate moderator. Wonderfully done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye. Dayalan sir, thank you so much for staying back.
Thank you very much, madam, for the wonderful coordination and arrangement. Very nice. Thank you, Bindu, and all the team.
The team is top class. Bindu, now you can start speaking. I will mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, DTM Gayatri looks lovely today. Why isn't anyone noticing this? Look at her. It's She's